The first question says write 38% as a decimal. So let's first write the percentage as a fraction, which is going to be 38 over 100. And then we convert this into a decimal. Whenever we have a number being multiplied by 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, or so on, what we do is we assume that the whole number, which is 38 in the numerator, has a decimal at its end. Because basically, every whole number has a decimal at its end. 38 is equal to 38.0. 16 is the same as 16.0. So we put a decimal after 38. And since there are two zeros in 100, we move the decimal 2 places to the left side. So when you move the decimal 2 places to the left side, our zeros get cancelled out and we have 0.38. That is your answer. What fraction of this shape is shaded? So let's count the total number of portions in this shape. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 are the total portions. Out of 10, we can see that 1, 2, 3. 3 are shaded. So fraction will be 3 over 10. The number of shaded divided by the total. Question 3 says, here's a list of numbers. From the list, write down the smallest number. So let's make a number line and put these points on the number line to see which one is the biggest, which one is the smallest. So we have 0 over here. So we begin with 0, then we go to 0.5. Then we'll have 1.3. Then we'll have 1.4, 1.6, and then 2.1. As you can see, 0.5 is the smallest. Smallest number is 0.5. Work out -9 plus 5. To understand this better, I'm going to draw the number line again. So we have 0 over here, and I'm going to put 5 over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 are over here. And then -9 is going to be over here. So that means we have -8, -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1. So to -9, let's put that over here. We're adding 5, which means we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the right side. The reason why we're going 5 units to the right side is because we're adding 5. So when we reach 5 units to the right side, from -9, we stop at -4, which is going to be our answer. Alternate method you could have done was that, remember that when we are adding a negative and a positive integer, you subtract them. So 9 minus 5 is 4. And the answer that the integer will have is of the bigger number. Since 9 is bigger than 5, so it's going to be -4. Once again, if you're adding a positive integer to a negative integer, you subtract the two numbers. And then for the sign, you look at the bigger number. Since 9 is bigger than 5, so 4 is going to be negative. Question 5 says solve p minus 2 equals to 3. So to solve p minus 2 equals to 3, one method is that you move -2 to the other side, and that makes it 3 plus 2. Whenever we move a term from one side to the other, the function is performing changes. So in this case, 2 was being subtracted from p. On the right-hand side, 2 will be added to 3. So that gives us 5. Alternative method is that we can get rid of the -2 with p by adding 2 on both sides. So when we add 2 on both sides, we get P equals to 5, same thing. So both methods give the same answer, but whatever method you're comfortable with, just use that. Question 6 is Freddy adds labels to this diagram of a circle. Explain why one of the labels is wrong. So let's create our own circle and start labeling the diameter, circumference, and center. So circumference is basically your boundary of the circle, which is this part. So this is your circumference. Now, as you can see, Freddy has labeled that correctly. Now for the center is obviously going to be center of the circle, which Freddy has labeled correctly as well. Moving on to the diameter. Diameter is basically your line which is passing through the center, but it goes from one point of the circumference to the other, which means Freddy was wrong with the diameter. Diameter was going to be the entire line from one point to the other. All of this was the diameter. What Freddy has drawn is the radius. Radius is half of the diameter. That means from the center towards the circumference. So Freddy's mistake is that he labeled the diameter incorrectly. This was radius, not the diameter. Question 7 says, write down 3 different factors of 20. So we know 20 is 20 times 1. 20 is 10 times 2. 20 is 4 times 5. 3 different factors can be 4, 5, 2. Could have also used 20, 10, 1, or any of the combinations using these numbers. Question 8 says, work out the size of the angle marked X. For this, you need to remember that angles around a point add up to 360. Why 360? Because if you look at a circle, and if you divide the circle into 4 quarters, we know this is a right angle because 2 lines are perpendicular over here. If this is a right angle, this is also going to be a right angle. So is this and this. So if we multiply 4 by 90, that's 360. So that is why angles around a point equal to 360. Now to find the value of X, we can see that one part of 360 is 50 and the remaining angle is X. So X plus 50 is basically equal to 360. And X would be 360 minus 50, which is 310. That is your answer. A student says that an angle of 50 degrees is an obtuse angle. The student is wrong. Explain why. So to understand obtuse angles, let's draw a straight line. Obtuse angle is an angle which is greater than 90. So an angle that is greater than 90 degrees, that's going to be this angle. This is an obtuse angle. The angle that the student is talking about is an acute angle, which is less than 90 degrees. As you can see, 50 is less than 90 degrees, so it cannot be an obtuse angle. It is an acute angle. Student is wrong because obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees. Hence, 50 degrees is not an obtuse angle. It's actually an acute angle. Question 9 says, write down the coordinates of point P. This is point P. So coordinates are ordered pairs with x first and y second. X is on the horizontal axis and y is on the vertical axis. So if we draw a line vertically and horizontally from point B, we can see that x is 5 and y is 2. So the coordinates are going to be 5, 2. Then it says plot the coordinates 4, -2 and label this point C. 4, -2 means your x is going to be 4 and y is going to be -2. So x4 is over here and y -2 is over here, which means our point will come over here. This is your point C with the coordinates 4, -2. Then it says write on the coordinates of the midpoint of AB. So for the midpoint of AB, let's write the coordinates of A first. On the x-axis, it's -3. On the y-axis, it's 4. So -3, 4 is A. And as we said earlier, B is 5, 2. So for the midpoint of AB, use a simple formula where we find the average of the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate. That's x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. So that's going to be 5 minus -3 over 2 and 4 plus 2. 5 minus -3 is 2, so that's 2 over 2. And 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 over 2, which simplifies to 1 and 3. This is your midpoint of AB. And if we plot this over here, we can see that it is right in the middle of AB. Then it says draw the line with equation y equals to -4. So y equals to -4 will come over here on the y-axis where y equals to -4. It's a straight horizontal line passing through y equals to -4. Question 10 says Max sees the special offer in a shop. Buy 1 large plate and get 1 small plate for half the normal price. The normal price of a large plate is £2. The normal price of small plate is 80 pence. Let's write that in pounds, which is going to be 0.8 pounds. Max wants to buy 6 large plates and 6 small plates using this offer. He has 15 pounds. Has Max got enough money? Show you're working. So we know if we buy 1 large plate, we get 1 small plate for half the normal price. So for 1 large plate, I'm paying £2. For 1 small plate, then based on if I buy the large plate, I will pay half the price. So that's going to be 0.8 divided by 2, and that's 0.4 pounds. So if I'm buying the large plate for £2, I am buying the small plate for 0.4 pounds. Max wants to buy 6 large plates. So if we buy 6 large plates, that's going to be 2 times 6, which is going to be 12. That is your cost of 6 large plates. 12 pounds. And the cost of 6 small plates will be 6 times 0.4, which is going to be 2.4 pounds. So he has 15 pounds. So total cost is going to be 12 plus 2.4, which is 14.4 pounds. And as you can see, The cost is 14.4. He has 15 pounds. So yes, he has enough money. Because the cost is less than the amount that he has. Question 11 says, a total of 700 tickets were on a sale for a football match. 452 of the tickets were sold. How many tickets were not sold? Total is 700. Sold tickets are 452. So not sold is going to be the difference of, not sold is going to be the difference of these two values. So 700 minus 452. Since 0 is less than 2, we can't subtract them. So we carry a 1 from 7. 7 will become 6. 0 becomes a 10, and then we again carry 1. So this becomes a 10, and this will be a 9. 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 6 minus 4 is 2. So we have 248 tickets which were not sold. For a different football match, 297 tickets were sold for 9.50 each dot. Were sold for 9.5 pounds each. 399 tickets were sold for 19.5 pounds each. Work out an estimate for the total amount of money paid for these tickets. So since it says estimate, we can round the values. 9.5 is going to be 10 pounds. 19.5 is going to be 20 pounds. So if you do 297 times 10, that's going to be 2,970. And 399 times 20 is going to be, I'm going to do 399 times 2. 9 twos are 18, carry a 1. 9 twos are 18 again, plus 1, 19. 3 twos are 6, plus 1, 7. So 798 times 10, because I only multiplied 399 with 2 over here. So that's 7,980. So we have to estimate the total amount of money paid. So we add 7,980 to 2,970, which will give us 0. 8 plus 7 is going to be 15, 1. That's going to be 19, 1, and 10. So this is your total amount in pounds. 10,950. Is your answer to part B an underestimate or an overestimate? Overestimate. Why? Because I rounded 9.5 to 10 and 19.5 to 20. So we're overestimating. If we were rounding it to 9 and 19, then it would be underestimating. Here are 6 numbers, work out the mean. So mean basically is your sum of values divided by the total frequency. For sum of values, we add the given values. 13 plus 5 plus 4 plus 9 plus 3 plus 8. And divided by the number of values, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, let's write this number of values over here. That's better. Number of values. So to make the addition easier, we know that 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 plus 5 is 18. And 3 plus 8 is 11. So if we add 13 and 11, that's 24. And then 24 plus 18 is going to be 42. So 42 over 6, which is 7. That is your mean value. Simplify 15a over 3. 15 is 5 times 3. So if we rewrite 15 as 5 times 3 times a divided by 3, we can see that 3 and 3 are common in the numerator and denominator. So if we cancel them out, we're left with 5a. That's your answer. Then it says simplify 19 plus 5b plus 4c minus 7b plus c. In this case, we need to identify our like terms. 5b and negative 7b are like terms, and 4c and c are like terms. Since there is no other constant, so 19 is on its own. So if we add these, we will subtract 7b from 5b. We will add 4c to c, and then plus 19 comes as it is. 5b minus 7b is 2b. 5b minus 7b is negative 2b. 4c plus c is 5c, and plus 19. That is your answer. The reason why I said that 5b and 7b are like terms is because both have the same variable, which is b, and the variable b is raised to the same power, which is 1. Same case for 4c and c. Both have the same variable c, and they're both raised to the same power, which is 1. Hence, they're like terms. Factorize 8d minus 6. So let's break down 8d into its factors. 8d can be rewritten as 4 times 2 times d, and 6 can be rewritten as 3 times 2. We can see that 2 is common between both 8d and 6. So in factorization, whatever is common, you write that term outside the bracket, and inside the bracket, you write the remaining terms. So if we take 2 common from 8d, we're left with 4d over here. And if we take 2 common from negative 6, we're left with negative 3 over here. And that is your fully factorized answer for this. Question 14 says 73% of the tickets sold at a cinema were adult tickets. What percentage of the tickets sold were not adults? So total tickets are going to be represented by 100%. Why? Because we started with percentages. If 73% of the tickets were sold out of 100%, that means not sold are going to be 100 minus 73, which is going to be 27%. Some people watched a film at the cinema. Number of adults is to number of children is 2:5. What fraction of these people were adults? We know that the 2 represents adults in this ratio. So we're going to write 2 in the numerator. Denominator will be sum of 2 and 5. Because 2 is out of the sum of 2 and 5. So that's going to be 2 over 7. On Friday, 500 people watched a film at the cinema. 70% of these people were children. So let's find the number of children first. If 500 people watch the film at the cinema, 70% of these people are children. So 500 times 70 over 100 is going to be 350. So 350 people are children. And then it says on Saturday, 72 people watched the film at the cinema, and 5/8 of these people were children. So for Saturday, we're going to do 5 over 8 times 720, which is going to give us 5 times 90, and that is 450. Qasim thinks more children watched the film on Friday than on Saturday. Is Qasim correct? As you can see, on Friday, 350 children watched the film. And on Saturday, 450 children watched the film. Qasim is not correct, because as you can see, on Saturday, 450 children watched the film, whereas on Friday, 350 watched the film. Question 15 says work out 6 over 7 times 5 over 12. So when you're multiplying fractions, you can multiply them. So 6 times 5 is 30, and 7 times 12 is 84. But the question over here says the fraction needs to be in simplest form. So for the simplest form, I would recommend not multiplying them initially. Skip that part. And then start with simplifying them. When you're simplifying fractions and they're being multiplied, you can simplify them not just vertically, but diagonally as well. So if we rewrite this as 6 times 5, instead of writing the final answer, over 7 times 12, we can see that 6 is being divided by 12. And we know 6 ones are 6 and 6 twos are 12. So that means now we have 1 times 5 over 7 times 2. Since 5, 7, 2 don't come in the same times table, except for like the 1 times table, we can multiply 1 with 5, that's 5, and 7 with 2, which is 14. This is your fraction in its simplest form. We cannot further simplify this. Question 16 says, here is the list of ingredients for making 20 biscuits. We use 150 grams of butter, 100 grams of sugar, and 250 grams of flour. Harry wants to make 60 biscuits, and this recipe is for 20 biscuits. How much flour does Harry need? So for 20 biscuits, Harry requires 250 grams of flour. So for 60 biscuits, we multiply 3 by 20. And since we're multiplying 3 by 20, we will multiply 250 by 3 as well. So for 60 biscuits, we will need 750 grams of flour. Question 17 says there are 200 counters in a bag. 38 counters are red, 52 counters are blue. The rest of the counters are yellow or green. There are the same number of yellow counters as green counters. What percentage of the counters in the bag are yellow? So we know total counters are 200. We have 38 red, 52 blue. Green and blue are the same number. So if we call this X, this will also be X. So that's going to be plus X plus X. So 200 equals to 38 plus 52, which is going to be 90 plus X is 2X. 200 minus 90 equals to 2X. I take 90 to the left-hand side to make 2X the subject. Now to subtract 90 from 200, that's going to be 110. Now we divide both sides by 2 to isolate X. So 110 divided by 2 is going to be 55. So that is your number of yellow counters and green counters. Both are 55. Since they're asking us about what percentage of the counters in the bag are yellow, so percentage of yellow would be 55 over 200 times 100. Number of yellow counters divided by the total counters times 100. Cancel out the zeros. So that's going to be 55 over 2, which is going to give us 27.5. So that is the percentage of yellow counters in the bag. Question 18 says Naomi has B bags of apples and C crates of apples. There are 5 apples in each bag and 28 apples in each crate. Naomi has a total of T apples. Write a formula for T in terms of B and C. She has B bags of apple. One bag has 5 apples. And one crate has 28 apples. The total number of T apples. So T will equal to Since we have B bags and one bag has 5 apples, so B bags will have B times 5 apples plus one crate has 28 apples, so C crates will have 28 times C apples. So total will be 5B plus 28C. That is your formula for T in terms of B and C. Question 19 says, here are the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence. Find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. So if we look at the sequence, to go from -5 to 3, we're adding 8. To go from 3 to 11, we're again adding 8. To go from 11 to 19, 8 again. And as you can see, there's a common difference of 8. So whatever your common difference is, to find the nth term, always multiply the common difference with n. If the common difference is being added, your nth value for n would be positive over here. If it's being subtracted, it would have been -8n. Since we're adding 8, so it's positive 8n. Now, if we use this as the nth term and find the first term, T1 would be 8 times 1, which is 8. As you can see, 8 does not match with -5. But to turn 8 into -5, what we need to do is we need to subtract 13 from this. Because 8 minus 13 is -5. So if we use the nth term as 8n minus 13, let's find the second term using this. So 8 times 2 minus 13. 8 times 2 is 16. And 16 minus 13 is 3, which is correct. Let's try another one. If we try to find the fourth one, 8 times 4 minus 13. 8 times 4 is 32. And 32 minus 13 is going to be 19. Our nth term for this sequence is 8n minus 13. Work out 8.46 divided by 0.15. So let's write this as a fraction. 8.46 divided by 0.15. I want to move the decimal 2 places to the right over here so that the decimal disappears from 0.15. And the same action will be done over here. We move the decimal in the numerator 2 places to the right as well. So that's going to give us 846 over 15. Now, 15 is divisible by 3 because 5 times 3 is 15. We don't know if 846 is divisible by 3, but there's a trick to check it. If we add 8, 4, and 6, that gives us 18. Now, 18 is divisible by 3 because 6 times 3 is 18. So when you're trying to check numbers if they're divisible by 3, always add the digits of, and if their sum equals to a number that comes in the 3 times table, that means that number is divisible by 3. So now what we can do is we can divide 846 by 3. We know 3 2s are 6, minus 2, 4 comes down, 3 8s are 24, 0 remainder, 6 comes down, and we know 3 2s are 6. So no remainder. So 846 is 282 times 3, which means we can cancel the 3 over here, and we have 282 divided by 5. Now let's divide 282 by 5 to give the answer in decimals. We know 5 5s are 25. 3 remainder, bring the 2 down. 5 6 are 30. 32 minus 30 is 2. Add a decimal, add a 0 over here. 5 4s are 20. So 282 divided by 5 is basically the same as 56.4. That is your answer. Question 1 says, work out 7 whole number 308 minus 2 whole number 108. Give your answer as a mixed number. So first we will convert the mixed numbers into improper fraction. To convert a mixed number to improper fraction, we multiply the denominator and whole number and then add the result to the numerator. 7 times 8 is 56. So we do 56 plus 3 and the denominator remains the same, which is 8. That's going to be 59 over 8. Same steps with 2 whole number 1 over 2. We will multiply 2 and 2. That gives us 4. Add the result to the numerator, which is 1 plus 4, and divide by 2. That's 5 over 2. Now that we've converted the mixed numbers into improper fractions, for us to subtract the two fractions, we need to make the denominators equal. Right now, we have unlike denominators. The first fraction has a denominator of 8, and the second fraction has a denominator of 2. So to make the denominators equal, I am going to multiply the second fraction by 4. Why? Because 2 times 4 is 8. And since I'm introducing a new term in the numerator, denominator, which is times 4, I have to do the same in the numerator as well. So 59 over 8 minus 20 over 8. Now, since the denominators are same, we can combine it as a single fraction and subtract the numerators, which is going to give us 39 over 8, which can be rewritten as a mixed number, and that is going to be 4 whole number 7 over 8. That is your answer as a mixed number. As an improper fraction is 39 over 8. Cube has a total surface area of 150 centimeters square. Work out the volume of the cube. If you draw a cube, faces of a cube are basically squares. That means all these lengths are equal because the square has all equal sides. They said the surface area is 150 centimeters square for the cube. Now, as you can see, a cube has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. So since the cube has 6 faces, it's going to be 6 times x squared. If I draw one square face of the cube, basically what I'm saying is that I'm assuming that the length of this square face is x. So since there's 6 faces, 6 times x squared. If we divide 150 by 6, that's going to give us 25 equals to x squared. To find the value of x, we will square root both sides to get rid of the square on x squared. And that gives us 5 centimeter for x. To find the volume of a cube has the formula of x cubed. Because all lengths are equals, length times width times height is going to be x cubed, which is going to be 5 cubed. That is 5 times 5 times 5. And that equals to 125 centimeter cube. Volume has a unit of unit cube and square is unit square. Question 23 says the table shows information about the daily rainfall in a town for 60 days. So we have the intervals for rainfall and the corresponding frequency. Draw a frequency polygon for this information. So to draw the frequency polygon, we need the midpoints of the class intervals. So midpoints can be found by adding the minimum and maximum value and then dividing that by 2. So the midpoint of 0 to 5 is going to be 2.5, 7.5 for next, 12.5 for the next one, 17.5 for this, and 22.5 for this. So if I write the coordinates over here, that's 2.5 and 8, 7.5 and 24, 12.5 and 13, 17.5 and 11, and lastly 22.5 and 4. So now we're going to plot these points on the grid below. Draw the frequency polygon. So 2.5 and 8 are going to come over here. 7.5 and 24 over here. 12.5 and 13 over here. Then 17.5 and 11 over here actually. And 22.5 22.5 and 4 is over here. So now to draw the frequency polygon, we will connect these points with a straight line. Since the minimum value is 0, so we start from 0 and we connect them like this. And that is your frequency polygon. Question 24 says that we have a universal set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 values. A is odd numbers and B is square numbers. Complete the Venn diagram. So odd numbers over here. Let's start with the intersection. So intersection between odd and square numbers is going to be 9 and 1 because both are square numbers and odd numbers. Square numbers other than that are 4 in the universal set. Odd numbers are 3, 5, 7, and that is it. So which means 2 will be outside, 6 will be outside, 8 will be outside, and 10 will be outside. These will be outside. A number is chosen at random from the universal set E. Find the probability that this number is in the set B complement. So to be in B complement, let me just go back over here. B complement is basically that set which does not have B. B complement does not include the elements of B. So that's going to be this and the terms outside. All of this is B complement. So that's going to be, we need to find the probability. So for the probability first, let's write down the number of elements. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements. Total elements are given as 10 and 7 elements are not a part of B. So probability is going to be 7 over 10. 7 elements are not a part of B. Question 25 says that scattergram shows information about the ages and weights of some babies. Describe the relationship between the age and the weight of the babies, please. So as you can see, as the age is increasing, the weight of the babies is also increasing, which means there's a positive correlation. There's a positive correlation. As the age of the babies increases, the weight of the babies also increases. And part B says another baby has a weight of 5.8 kg. Using the same scatter graph, find an estimate for the age of this baby. So 5.8 kg is the weight of this baby. So that's going to come over here. So to find the age of the baby at the weight of 5.8 kg, first we need to draw our line of best fit. So line of best fit will be that line that has the same number of points above and below the line. So if we use this line, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points above the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points below the line. So this is our line of best fit. On the line of best fit, the age we're getting for the weight of 5.8 kgs is 3.6 months. So that is your answer. Question number 26, it says the price of holiday increases by 20%. This 20% increase adds 240 pounds to the price. This 20% increase adds 240 pounds to the price of the holiday. Work out the price of the holiday before the increase. So that means 240 is basically representing 20% of X. So that's going to be 240 equals to 0.2 X, because 20% increase adds 240 to the price of the holiday. So this increase, 20% of X is 0.2. So 0.2X equals 240. 240 divided by 0.2. Move the decimal 1 unit to the right. Same thing over here. So that makes it 2400 over 2. And that is equal to 1200 pounds. The next question says the diagram shows a solid cylinder on a horizontal floor. The cylinder has a volume of 1200 centimeter cube and the height of 40 centimeters. The cylinder exerts a force of 90 newtons on the floor. We need to work out the pressure on the floor due to the cylinder. So we have the formula, pressure equals to force over area. So if the volume is 1200, volume basically has the formula of base area times the height. We can calculate the base area by dividing our volume, called the base area X, and the height is 40. So 1200 divided by 40 equals to X, and that's going to give us 30 centimeters square as our area. So pressure is going to be force, which is 90 newtons, divided by the area, which is 33. So 3 Newton per centimeter square is our pressure applied on the floor due to the cylinder. Question 20 says, use this graph to solve the simultaneous equation. So in a graph, if they have drawn two lines which represent simultaneous equations, so it's just basically the intersection of the two lines. So X value over here is 6 and Y value is -2. So that is your answer. Question 29 says that work out the value of 4 to the power of -6 times 4 to the power of 9 divided by 4. So whenever we have similar bases being multiplied, we add the powers. And if the similar bases are being divided, we subtract the powers. So let's solve the numerator first. Similar base of 4 is being multiplied, so we will add the power. So -6 plus 9. So that's going to be 4 to the power of 3. So now we will do 4 to the power of 3 minus 1 because every whole number has power of 1. So that's going to be 4 square, which is basically 4 times 4. That is 16. Write on the exact value of cos 60. So cos 60 is basically going to be, if we draw a special triangle, this is 60 and this is 30. Special triangle has a ratio of 1, 2, and √3. So cos 60 is basically adjacent over hypotenuse based on SOHCAHTOA. Adjacent is that length on which the angle lies. So this is your adjacent and hypotenuse is always the diagonal. So cos 60 is going to be 1/2 or 0.5. That is your answer. The probability tree diagram shows the probabilities that Martha will win or lose each game. Find the probability that Martha will lose at least one game. So to lose at least one game, she can win the first game and lose the second game. She can lose the first game, win the second game, or she can lose the game and lose the game again. Because as you can see, the question says that we have to show the probability that she will lose at least one game, which means she can lose two games as well. So the probability will be 5/8 times 7/9 plus 3/8 times 2/9 plus 3/8 times 7/9. 5/8 times 7/9 gives the probability of her winning the first game but losing the second game. 3/8 times 2/9 gives the probability of her losing the first game but winning the second game. And 3/8 times 7/9 gives us the probability of her losing the first and the second game. So that's going to be 35/72 plus 6/72 plus 21/72. That's going to give us 62/72, which can be simplified to 31/36. That is your probability of Martha losing at least one game.